Here we
Did
are.
it.
Hey, fellas.
How you doing?
Day on the job.
Rob, tell us a funny joke.
We are doing it. We're ready to rock and roll.
Come on, Rob, tell us a funny joke.
I got a couple. Let's see. Let me think now. You put me on the spot.
All right, well, why don't you find yourself a nice joke, and we will. I got some announcements to make anyway, so I can get those out of the way.
Yeah, do 'em.
So, well, I guess let me get this shared out first before we really even do anything. But if you're tuning in, please give the stream a share. We are going to get started, I guess, well, right now because we're already here. So, yeah, please give the stream a share. Help us get out there right away to lots and lots and lots and lots of people. And we can get started with the announcement of Darren and Mika finished up this weekend. It was a phenomenal match. Darren won both of the matches. We'll be talking much more in depth on it. But we have a ton of prizes that we're giving away from that. And today is your last day to actually get entered into that drawing. So we're giving away like $4,000 in prizes. It is an absolute ton of stuff. We have a $1,300 Jacoby Custom Q, a $400 Predator, a $325 J Flowers Jump Q, a $300 J Flowers Shooting Q with a carbon fiber shaft, as well as some Rasan racks that you can't get anywhere else. We have magic racks, a bunch of stuff. So basically, if you would like to get yourself entered into that drawing, all of the ways to do so, I will put in the comments here, and we're going to be giving those away in just a little bit after this stream. I got to give away the Patreon prize, too. I had a couple people, if you're wondering why we haven't actually given away the Patreon prize yet, I had a few people that had their cards declined, and I was trying to give them the opportunity to get back in so that they would be entered into the drawing because they did not know that their card was declined, of course. So I'm trying to give them the update that they can still get in if they wanted to. And then this weekend, the Darren and Mika matchup, I wasn't able to get it done this weekend. So I'm going to do that tonight as well. Trying to get everything done up before I go to the Predator event at Ho-Chunk. So hopefully I'm able to get all this stuff figured out. So next month, I'm very happy to announce that we are going to be giving away a custom JB case. So John Barton has given us a awesome JB case to give away. So for all the Patreons out there, that will be your next prize for next month. So if you are not a Patreon and that sounds like something that you would want to get, you can sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/Q it up. And I will put that in the, of course, it's always going to be in the description of the podcast if you're listening to this not live, but I'll also throw it in the chat right now so you can get that.
That's a pretty cool prize, Nate. What's the, like, if you wanted to get a JB custom case, I think there's like a waiting list. They're in pretty tough demand. It's not so easy, right? It's not like ordering something from your locals. Anyway, I think that's a pretty cool prize.
It's not on Amazon Prime 2-day delivery.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
It's like trying to get a sword from it's like Domingo Montoya, the Princess Bride. The guy has to go for like a 5-year wait. Anyway, forget it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Richard Van Leeuwen. Yeah, we ship anywhere around the world. I'm not sure what you're referring to as far as the Patreon or for the prizes for Darren and Mika, but we'll ship anywhere. So for both of those. So anybody, yeah, we have a couple people from Norway as part of our Patreon. Some people from the UK. We had some people actually from Sweden. I'm not sure if they still are. I think they might still be. We had somebody from South Africa. And I think somebody from Australia. So we'll ship anywhere. So
anybody from Antarctica?
No. A couple penguins.
I don't think anybody lives there.
A couple penguins, but their Patreon, the subscription is only 4 fish per month. So it's not very much. And normally by the time it gets here, it's usually rotten. So
they don't sell many templates down there because they don't have any trouble freezing the ball. Never mind. All right.
Wow, I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get that terrible joke out of Rob, not out of you, Demetrius.
Yeah. I got his back, man. We're tag teaming this sucker.
Woof. Woof, Demetrius. Woof.
Nice one. I love it. Frozen balls.
All right, so I guess let's get underway. I guess we'll start with Darren Appleton. beating Mika twice. In the 10 ball, he won 30-11, and in the 8 ball, he won 30-28. But Mika was up actually 16-4 at one point in time.
Whoa.
And ended up losing from there. So that's pretty tough.
Was it winter break, Nate?
It was winter break, yes.
Winter break.
The table was very generous. The pockets on that are about 5 inches. They're big.
I know the table.
Pockets,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Nice pockets.
Big pockets. So I guess any takeaways? Did either of you watch any of the match?
So I did not, but I'll tell you what.
Rob.
I did not watch that match, but I've had a chance to watch a lot of Mika and Darren in January. They were both Turning Stone and Derby. And Mika's playing about as good as I've seen Mika play since his tear 10 years ago, or 14 to 12 years ago, whatever. Like, Mika's playing better this year than I've seen him play in over a decade. But Darren is also playing better than I've seen him play since his peak. It seems like they're both really recommitting to the game. Maybe COVID and time, pandemic, I don't know. All I know is that I was really impressed by how Mika's been playing, and I've been just floored by how good Darren's playing. I watched him at Derby. He also got the toughest draw in the world. He drew filler first round and lost 9-8. And then he drew Corey Deuel second round, opened up with a 3-pack, and ended up losing 9-8. And it's like,
in a tournament full of like 450, 500 players, he draws Joshua Filler and Corey Deuel back to back.
It was anyway, but and literally Josh Filler ends up getting second, and he loses to the guy that gets second in the first round 9-8, and Josh runs out of the anyway. Details. The bottom line is, I think they're both playing phenomenal. I think they're both capable of winning a major again. Like, I don't know what it is, man, but they're both really. I'm glad to see it. So sorry, that's all I have to add. Is that great matchup.
Well, there's a kind of mental lulls in pool throughout your career, even amateur careers. You'll go through 4 or 5 year stretches where life is taking over and pool is secondary, and you just don't play the same. And then when that goes away, all of a sudden there's a new fire lit under you and a new drive and a new desire. And you can come back for 2 or 3 or 4 years and play the best pool maybe you've ever played. I've seen in my life, I've seen it with me 3 or 4 times when different things control you. And then all of a sudden now you're in control, and what you want to do is play pool, of course. So that could be part of it too. Just that fire's burning again with these guys. Yeah. Because the skill's there. It's just
what did you see, Nate? Yeah, I agree, Rob. What did you see watching the match, Nate?
Well, I'll tell you what, Darren, and actually we're supposed to be getting Darren in today, so let me I'm an idiot and forgot to invite him. Sorry, Darren, I love you. I mean, Darren is just cool, calm, and collected. I mean, Darren, when you're playing on a table like this, the table is super soft. It's, like I said, it's got about 5-inch pockets. The table plays pretty decent. The rails are a little bit sketchy here and there, and the cloth is a little worn. So it plays like a real 5-inch pocket. It's not playing slippery or anything like that. But I'm telling you what, like, if these guys are making a ball in the break on this table, like, it's almost silly to think that they're going to miss a ball. I mean, it literally is almost silly. They're so good at playing their patterns. I mean, we were having this discussion a lot on site, and I think it's actually kind of an interesting topic maybe to talk about. There was questions as to who is the greatest 8-ball player of all time, and for my money, I think it's Darren. But you could make a pretty serious argument for Mika being in there too, and you can throw whoever else you want in there. But it's hard to make a list without Shane being on it, of course. But we discussed a whole bunch of times about who actually is the greatest 8-ball player ever. Demetrius, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so if I have to pick 3 or 4 names right off the bat, I'd go with Shane, Ralph, Thorsten, Efren, Alex, Dennis. Like, those are some names that jump into the mix right away. But I think that Shane is definitely, if I had to I'm talking a hungry Shane, right? Top of his career kind of Shane. Like, if I had to pick, I mean, it's hard to outrun the guy. I mean, he breaks so well that it's just, he's got an edge over everybody on the planet. And then he just plays patterns. He grew up playing 8-ball. He knows the patterns. He knows. I think I'd have to pick Shane, but I think all the names, and then Darren and Mika, definitely Darren is in the mix, but I think Ralph's okay too. Like, those are some of the names that come to mind.
Yeah. And the older school names would be Mike Siegel would be one of them.
Yeah, Nick
His 8
Barner,
ball
Mike
game
Siegel,
was
Efren Reyes.
was back in the day. I watched a lot of him play, and he was just outstanding in 8 ball.
Yeah. I mean, but any of those guys we just named off could run 20 racks at 8 ball if the break's working.
Sure.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, if you go to their match, well, Rob, I guess you said you watched a little bit of it. So what did you think? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't watch their matches. No.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it, so I'll talk about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
They go with their breaks. I mean, in the beginning of the 8, so the 10 ball, there's not really a lot to talk about. I mean, Darren broke the ball so good, and Mika was, he made a couple mistakes, especially once he started, getting down a bunch of games. He just kind of got frustrated. But especially towards the end of like the set, he kind of got really lazy with some shots, and he wasn't really in the match. 30-11. I mean, that's a bit of a beatdown, and if you run it back, I mean, something might have changed. Of course, something would change it because Mika's not going to get beat 30-11 very often. So let's just talk about the 8 ball, I guess, because that's more interesting. In the beginning of the set, Mika wins the lag and breaks and runs a 4 to begin with. So, and then I think he breaks dry at that point in time. But I mean, he breaks and runs a 4. Darren gets up to the table. I think he runs out and breaks dry the next time. And basically, what happens is anytime Darren gets to the table, he's either kicking or he's banking or he's doing something because Mika's putting him in jail because he's breaking the ball so good. He's getting the first opportunity at the table, and Darren just cannot get anything going. When he does win a game, his break is so bad that he's breaking. I think of the first 5 breaks, he had 2 are dry, and he jumped a ball off the table and then he scratched in the side. So of your first 5 breaks, if you're not getting the first opportunity 4 of the 5, I mean it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So Mika takes full advantage, jumps out, like I said, to a 16-4 advantage.
Wow.
And then from there, Darren just goes on an absolute tear. He wins the next 10 games, gets it to 16-14.
Whoa.
And in there, I think he missed 1 break where he scratched, and Mika was not able. It was kind of just a super ugly table. Like, of the 15 balls on the table, 14 balls, whatever it was on the table, like 10 were tied up. And like, it's not an exaggeration. Like, Mika couldn't get out. He tried to get out. He couldn't get out. Darren ends up winning the game and then goes on another break and run of 4. I think he puts another 4-pack on, gets it back up to 16-14. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mika extends it back out to like 23-17 or 23-16 or something like that. So he gets up 6 games again. And again, it's just Darren missed 1 break and Mika just got up and got out. And then at that point in time, Mika's break just completely abandoned him. He wasn't able to make a ball in the break. He wasn't scratching. He was just getting if he did make a ball, it was a super tricky pattern. And Darren was breaking the balls wide open, which is kind of weird because I talked to him afterward. Well, we were talking at dinner. We went to dinner afterwards, and he's like, he switched to a side break. He's breaking from the rail, but he's breaking square up. He's squaring the rack up from the rail. And he's like, the only reason I was doing that is because most of the time the tables were so ugly, you couldn't run them out. And I had no confidence in my break. So if I'm going to break the balls and I have no confidence in them, I'm going to try to make it as ugly as I possibly can and just slow the game down. Well, it turns out that he ends up finding something from it. And, he's probably breaking and running 2 out of every 3 of his breaks from there. But the other time, like that third one, was exactly what he was hoping for, which it was super ugly. He doesn't hit it right or whatever it was, just gets super ugly. And it just goes into back and forth games. And, he ends up winning 13 of the last, I want to say 13 of the last 18 games to close it out 30-28. And it ended in a really ugly way. Darren tried to run out at 29-28. And he gets down to the last 2 balls, and he's got a little bit of a tricky positional shot, but it's not really hard. He's just got to go over and back twice. So he gets a little thin on a ball, and he's basically, if the table's like this, he's got his last ball over here, and then he's got his cue ball basically straight out from it. He's got to go, across the table, back, and then over again for an 8 ball down here into this pocket, bottom right pocket. It's hard to do that, Mirror.
It is hard to do that on here.
Yeah, and he miscued. I mean, he miscued and gave up ball in hand when the ball was 6 inches away from his object ball. He just miscued, and the cue ball goes off the side. But, we were all just kind of like, oh. because that's hill, Mika breaking. I mean, how exciting is that? You want to watch that, right?
Right.
So, all in all, the match was amazing, especially the first day. Whatever, it wasn't any good. But then we actually gave some bonus action too, where Mika played probably the best player for Madison, definitely the best player for Madison. Some races to 7 for 200 in the middle. So got a little bonus action, and actually they split sets. So Jeremy Fetkenauer was able to win the second set on the hill. So that was
really cool. Well, good for Jeremy.
Yeah, and Thomas, Thomas reminded me. I'm gonna pull that video up. So I mean, I guess did anything I say there spark any interest in things that you guys want to talk about?
Well, when I was saying I watched the entire Derby.
Go ahead.
And so I did watch Mika play and Darren play. I watched Darren's one pocket action, which was pretty exceptional. I was impressed with his play. Both guys played impressive at the Derby. Every match that I watched, they were on top of their games. It was fun to watch. I'm glad I bought that AccuStats to watch the Derby. That's the first time I'd done that, and the finals in all the divisions were pretty fantastic.
Demetrius,
I was hoping to see this guy right here, this guy right here, in some of the finals, but
yeah, it's gotten tougher. I'll tell you one little insert about Derby is just in the last 5 years, the thickness of top players. Nate was joking about like a sea of 450 Fargo rates. You know what? Right. 4 or 5 years ago, you could go out there and it seemed like everybody, the first 4 rounds, you'd be drawing guys that were, not real players. It was like the top 50 in the world were really tough, and then another 50 guys that were like 700 plus, and then like 400 guys that couldn't really play. Not anymore. Now you got like 300 guys that are like really, really good players. I mean, seriously, it's like the number
of guys that can take a set off you.
Yeah, you've got like there's like like Nate, you'd be like middle, like in 5 years ago, you'd be top 20%. Now you might be middle. It's like super, super, super tough. Like if I draw you first round, I don't like that draw. I'm like, trust me. Anyway, not compared to how it used to be. Anyway, sure. So the point is that and I feel the same way about myself. It's just unbelievably tough. So okay, the only thing about the 8-ball, 10-ball thing, I think table conditions. I think that pool, we have different size tables, we have different cloths, we have different pocket sizes, we have different games. And the conditions change the games so much. It's like, has anybody ever tried playing bar table one pocket?
Yes.
Has anybody ever tried playing one pocket on a valley?
Yes.
You can't really do it, right? It's totally like the game just doesn't work.
It's so much fun.
It's pretty much a mess.
So the thing about it is, I've watched, like when it comes to 8-ball, 8-ball can be a beautiful game, but it can also be a really, really stupid game. And when you're watching 8-ball, like in the IPT days, when they had like tight pockets with slow cloth, and then when the balls break, there's congestion and there's tough balls to pocket, and there's tough problems to deal with because they're using triangle racks, and then there's clusters and tight pockets and slow cloth, and having to get good angles and sweating. If you come off the ball and leave yourself a tester, you might actually miss it. That was exciting. Like they at least had that right. They had everything right with the payouts, except for the part where they didn't show up with they left town, went to jail, took all the money. But anyway, when it comes to 8-ball, I remember there was a match last year, and I think it was Fedor playing somebody. I literally don't even remember the match. That's how boring it was, where they were using a template rack on a new cloth with 4.5-inch pockets playing 8-ball. And it's like, I watched for like 30 racks.
Bergman, wasn't it? Wasn't that
maybe
Bergman?
All I remember is I watched for 30 racks. I never saw a safety. I never saw a breakout, and I never saw a miss. It was just dry break, you run a bunch of racks. Oh, dry break, I run some racks. Oh, I scratched, you run some racks. It was the most boring pool I've ever seen. It's not even, I don't even call that 8-ball. It's upsetting to me. It's like, I like 8-ball where there's the break is always going to play a role, but I want to see it come down to shot making, pattern play, dealing with clusters, and maybe even some defensive battles. I don't want to just see it come down to like who's got the ball going in the side. It's horrible to me. I think that pool has the potential to be either a great game or a stupid game. And the lower the skill level, the less the conditions matter. If you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate player, whatever the tables are, it's going to be a challenging, interesting game. But when you start getting up to advanced and high level play, it's just, I think the rules and the conditions and the equipment, you just have to gear it right. Otherwise, it kind of takes a great game and makes it kind of stupid.
All right, here we go. Sure, you guys ready for this? All right,
Oh.
keep in mind on this shot right here. I'm probably gonna get the score wrong, but I believe Mika was up 27-24 at this point. Darren was breaking the balls and ran out and got himself this shot on the 8-ball. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we gotta wait just 1 second. Because apparently Darren is joining in right now, and I want him to take you through the thought process.
All right.
So I can hear him trying to join. I just don't see his video in there anywhere. So we're going to take just a couple seconds to let him get in here, because it is Darren Appleton after all, you know. My guess is it's his birthday, you guys. Remember that. So be nice to Darren, everybody.
Wow.
But so no jokes about his ears today. It's his birthday after all. Be nice to him. I got to find out what's taking him so long. Rob, where's our joke at? You said you were going to get us a joke.
Well, now I've been listening to you guys. I haven't been thinking about it.
Oh, bummer. Demetrius, how was Derby? You haven't been on the podcast since then. So actually, how did it go for you?
I want to shout out to Little Chris and Tom Wolcheski in the chat. And then someone talks us, somebody's saying, "Oh, I'm only a 4 at 5:30." Does that mean I'm not? So somehow somebody's okay. I have respect for pool players from the very first day they pick up their cue and they can't make a bridge or pull their arm back, all the way to the best player in the world. Anybody that wants to embrace the game, try hard, face adversity, try to overcome that adversity. It's a meaningful challenge. We're all on the same road. We spent different amounts of time on the road, but we're all pursuing the same road. And day to day, we're all doing our best. And I have respect for everybody. So when somebody feels, and I'm not, maybe he's joking around, he did have an LOL. I'm just sharing when somebody feels slighted by something I say, or somebody takes some words I say. And as a competitive player, oftentimes people project stuff onto me like, "Oh, you probably look down at me and you probably think that I should quit playing. And if you probably think if you played like me, you wouldn't quit." Like, people often project stuff onto me. And if I say something, sometimes they twist my words. And I don't feel that way. I just want to let everyone know I respect everybody with a pool cue. And so if anybody that reads into anything else, that's not me. But okay.
Yeah, I think the idea is just to defend you, Demetrius.
To put some light, share some light for this fella. If you're at 5:30 and you have 6 balls on the table in the 8-ball because your opponent had just missed, and you run out.
Yeah, it's the one thing I hope everyone understands. It's like, whatever level you're at, if you're facing adversity and you're challenged and you're under pressure and you have to dig deep and overcome what's in front of you, we're all doing it. Anyway. Okay. It's all the same. Yeah. So as far as Derby, I had a really good tournament. In terms of, I had fun. I didn't get the toughest draws. Like, I didn't get the Darren Appleton draws where I was playing Filler and Corey Deuel every match. But I didn't get any of the draws where I was waking up in the 6th round either. You know what I mean? Like, I was playing the guys, like, I was playing a lot of guys. Like, everyone I played was 700 to 760.
Sure.
770. So it's like I played a couple softer players, a couple tougher players, but mostly it was just match after match of really, really, really tough matches.
Yeah.
Guys like Chohan and Anthony Baglino and guys like, you know what I mean? Just like a bunch of, like, they're not the best of the field, but man, there's a lot of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, it was fun.
Yeah,
so it's like I got Brandon Schuff. I got beat. I won. Yeah. Josh Roberts. Those are the guys I was playing. Like, the guys that were tough, not invincible, but tough. And so they beat me. I beat them. They beat me. I beat them. I cashed. I didn't. I win. I lose. I don't know. It was fun. I think I finished 7th round in the 9-ball, 6th round in the banks. I didn't cash one pocket. I got beat up pretty bad. Brandon Schuff. Okay, good. So, Toxis, thank you. I just want to make sure we're all good, man. You said you're all good. I want to make sure we're all good, because seriously, man, a lot of people, like, I just don't want to hurt anybody, man. I don't mean to hurt anybody. So that's all. But yeah, Darren's going to work fun.
Oh, Nate, before you start, let me get my shout out here to a fella from Wisconsin.
Sure,
and this particular tournament is a little bit like the Seco Ronnie tournament, Demi, that you played in and won on a couple of occasions. And there's some just really, really good players from Wisconsin and Northern Illinois playing in this tournament. It's called King of the Hill tournament down in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And one of the players in the tournament actually was instrumental in starting the Wisconsin Billiards Hall of Fame. And I'm going to shout out to Johnny Kramer. He's a family man. He's got a full-time job, and he played in this tournament, King of the Hill tournament, where it was a race to 5 on the winners, race to 4 on the losers. And the phenomenal thing about this tournament is that there was a Mosconi Cup player entered in the event, and very, very much favored to win the event. And Johnny Kramer double dipped him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Tyler put him in the loser side. Johnny won one more match against Kyle Bors and came back.
Burse.
And Burse. Yeah. And came back and won hill to hill on the first dip. And then it was a race to 4 for both of them, and he won hill to hill on that second dip too. So a great shout out for this is a guy who plays weekly pool with Nate down there in pool leagues. Doesn't play in many tournaments at all, and he had to dig as deep as he could dig to beat Tyler. He said Tyler did not play bad, made a couple of mistakes here and there.
That's really cool. And you know what? I want to give a shout out. Maybe you guys already talked about it, but the only thing, if there was one thing I could say about Derby, I lost out. I played my best set of the tournament. I lost to Shane Wolford. And Shane Wolford, I had him 3-0. And then I had a tricky spot. He ran 3 racks to go 3-3. And then I had him 6-4 or something. And then somehow something went sideways and he ran 2 racks to go 6-6. And then at 6-6, I made the only real blunder I made of the set. He ran out the set on me, or he ran 2 racks and then played a safe. Anyway, I didn't shoot again really. So then it's like, and then he went on. I mean, he beat Miyuki Oi. He got 11 rounds in. I think he finished 6th, right, out of like 500.
Oh. I think 5th. I think
okay, but he made it. But somewhere like that. And so anyway, they might have listed him at 6th. But then the thing about it was, and he played. Danny Olson, by the way. I talked to Danny. Danny had him down 7-1, going to 9, and he felt. Danny said he was feeling, just a little bit like maybe he was a little like overconfident because he went for a little bit of an aggressive, dangerous decision where he could have played something more conservative, but he was just like kind of feeling good and went for it. And it went 7-2, and then he ended up losing 9-8. Oh, he was up. He ended up going from 7-1. He blundered. He went to 7-2. Danny got up 8-5, and then he broke dry, and Wolford ran out the last 4 to beat him 9-8. So just to be clear, like, Wolford made a bunch of come from behind. He came from behind on me. He came from behind on Danny Olson. I didn't have that much belief, but it finally took a Josh Filler. And I remember telling somebody, I said, he is playing so good right now. The only way that Wolford's going to lose, nobody's going to win because they're going to outplay him or outperform him rack by rack. They're just going to have to, and he ran a number of racks. I think in our set, he ran 3 racks off his break directly, plus another couple he controlled off his break. There was like 4 or 5 racks where I didn't have any reasonable chance at the table in a race to 9. And I'm like, the only way somebody beats him is if they could just run more racks than him. Now, there are players in the field that can run more racks than him, and Filler was one of them, and that's what it took to beat him. But it was exactly like I predicted. I'm like, that's what it takes. It's the guy that got to the finals just raining packages on him. But I'm telling you, I have seen a lot. Like, Wolford's not, at the highest level, but I'll tell you, he's a young man. I don't know if he's 21 or what, but I'll tell you that I'm excited, man. Like, I didn't really know he played that well. I know he's an up and comer, but I think we have a new kid. Like, I'm thinking future Mosconi Cup for sure. Like, he, in my opinion, I would put him on the Mosconi Cup this year based on what I saw on the table and during that tournament. I think he's amazing. And I think Danny Olson's playing super good too. Like, to hang with them and watch him play. And I'm like, you two should be Mosconi Cup, and I should be like the vice coach or something. I'll do the guys can play. So that's my big takeaway. Is look out for anybody that doesn't have future, representing the U.S. So,
yeah, he was in the top 40 in the overall at the Derby. I think Shane was 22nd in that group.
All right. Well, if everybody else gets a shout out, then I get one too. And my shout out's going to be to Mr. Rob Hovick, because you mentioned the Wisconsin Billiards Hall of Fame, and I'm going to do a call to arms. I do this every now and then, and usually it doesn't go very well. I want this one to go really, 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 really well. So the Wisconsin Billiards Hall of Fame has 12 nominees. Of those 12, Mr. Robert Hovick is one of them. To vote, so basically how it works is it's a democracy. So everybody who is a member of the Wisconsin Billiards Hall of Fame gets a vote. Every one of them gets a vote. And whoever ends up with the most votes gets inducted into the Wisconsin Billiards Hall of Fame. I want to see Rob get in this year. So I'm going to put the link out here in the chat. I'm also going to attach it to the description of this podcast. Go to WIBHOF.com, Wisconsin Billiards Hall of Fame, WIBHOF.org. So WIBHOF.org. Get signed up. I think it costs like $10 a month. And what I'm going to do, because it costs $10 a month, you got to go in there and you got to vote for Rob Hovick. Because it costs $10, if you do this, reach out to me, let me know, and I will send you a free T-shirt for a vote for Rob Hovick.
Oh, no,
we need to get Rob in.
No.
So you get a free T-shirt, which is a $25 value for free if you sign up for the Wisconsin Billiards Hall of Fame and vote for Rob Hovick. Hashtag Hovick for HOF.
Oh, $10 a year. $10 a year. They just corrected that.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Sorry. Yes. $10 a year. $10 a year. $10 a year. So it's going to cost you a $10 bill. Funny. And you're going to get to be able to vote for Rob Hovick. And then once you vote for Rob Hovick, reach out to me, let me know, and I will send you a free T-shirt. I just got
buy my way into the Hall of Fame. There we go.
No, Rob, you deserve it. And I'm doing this. I'm getting you in because you deserve it, dang it. You get there's so much, not even on your resume, is all the work that you've done for the last 3 years with this podcast. We are now the 7th most influential pool industry in the world.
Okay, so Nate,
lots of that was you, Rob.
It's funny you say that. So when I was at Derby, I want to say, so somebody just mentioned they saw me running out a couple times. They probably saw me dogging it a couple times. Anyway, I want to thank everybody there was a lot of people this year that came up and said hi to me and introduced themselves. And it was really, really cool. And one time I was down 6-1 in the middle of a match, losing my first 9-ball match. I'm getting drilled. I'm down 6-1. The guy's running out from everywhere. And the guy comes over and introduces me. I don't think he knew I was getting drilled, but I still smiled and thank you and all this. And then anyway, and then I wanted to tell you this, Nate. You get a kick out of this. So I draw one of my opponents. I go to play him, and he says, "You look familiar. Where have I seen you?" And I told him, I said, "I'm famous, man. Like, do you watch the movies? Do you go to the movies? Do you watch the political debates? Do you open the newspapers? Like, come on, man. That's where you've probably seen me. Anyway, it was kind of, I didn't actually say that. That was just very funny.
Right.
I figured you probably just looked him dead in the eye and said, you don't know who I am?
Like, I don't understand.
You don't understand who I am?
Well,
drop the mic and walk away.
There is something to this, Demi, because last week we have a little Friday night things at the local bars here, right? Races to 2 stuff. And I go to one a month. And sure enough, I'm there and this guy's got his laptop and he says, "Hey, come here." He opens it up and here's a podcast stream with all us guys on it, and he's watching it.
That's right.
And it was just so cool.
That's right. That's what they told me. I here I was like, "That's where you see me, pal." And then all of a sudden the guy's like, "Wait, aren't you friends with Rob?" Just like Ryan just said. Okay, is Darren joining, or what's going on with ears?
I don't even know where he's at. I think he's having problems.
Let's see this game that you got.
Yeah, show us the game, and we'll just see the shot.
Here it is. So 27-24, I believe at this time. Even if you no, you're not going to jump at this.
I think he just can't be bothered getting his jump cue.
Oh my God, he made it. Oh my
God. He was laughing about that.
27-24 was on the screen there. He kicks it off the 7-ball and then goes on to run 3.
It was kind of a sideboard. I mean,
I would say, yeah.
One more time.
That would.
Even if you no, you're
You're not going to jump at this. I think he just can't be bothered getting his jump cue. Oh my God, he made it. Oh my
God. Listen to him laughing.
And you hear like Jim's little chuckle in the background. It's so perfect. So Mika was about on tilt after that. He was, yeah. And then he goes on to break and run 3. Like I said, to get the 28-20, 28-27 in favor. You know, that's 28-24. If he misses that 8 ball, the match is probably over.
And to get smoked in the 10 ball and then put on that kind of performance in the 8 ball and build a lead and get into a winning position and then have to fade that. It's fatiguing, man. Yeah, it's pool. You want to be a pool player. You pick a tough game, right?
Exceptionally mentally tough game too. Besides, you think that
like that,
this is a point, poke, and shoot game? Oh no, this stuff between your ears is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and people think that like the best players in the world are just like transcended. They don't get rattled by stuff anymore, and that they're like mentally impervious to adversity. It's like no. That caused some real emotional distress. There was some pain.
Oh yeah.
People who say that they don't get nervous with pool anymore, I say congratulations, welcome to being dead.
Yeah, I'm like, when people tell me that they don't get nervous, I'm like, so you just play your buddies in your basement? Then is that what you're saying? Like, you just play. Yeah, it's.
Well, I have a question for you guys. Nate and I just talked about this a little bit before we started today, but one of the things we talk about in the past is the European approach to professionalism in pool. And the bit between European pool and American pool is that American pool basically isn't that professional. It's just a lot of guys out there playing for money and gambling and, not as many upscale tournaments and things like that. And we're trying to get it that way. Okay. We're working on that. We're working on get it closer. And I said to Nate, well, why don't we just look at this a little different way? Instead of taking and putting on a Mosconi Cup with people who have excelled in pool tournaments, why don't we just take the best dang road player gambler in the country and put him on the Mosconi Cup? And so I want to get your take on that, Demi, on how you feel about something like that. Don't go by these tournaments that everybody plays and the guy who's dressed the best and neatest and talks the nicest, but maybe the guy who just plays under pressure and for all the bucks.
The thing is, it all comes down to like, what are we trying to do and who are we trying to market to? And are we trying to get viewers, or are we trying to create something for the players? Are we trying to create something for the spectators, or are we trying to create something for the sponsors? Or are we trying to draw in a new audience, or are we trying to bridge the gap to snooker? I mean, it's like, it's almost like we're talking about it's almost like if I said, hey, Rob, what's the answer? It's like, well, what's the question? It's like you have to know what the question is before you have the answer. And when people are talking, people are always talking about the answer, but we're not in unison as far as what we're trying to do or where we're trying to go. So if we don't have the same vision of where we're going, we're not going to have the same ideas. As far as like what you're saying, I think it would be fun. Like I actually think that there'd be, like the ring game styles. Like I like the chip tournaments where you get like a bunch of gamblers playing ring game 10 ball and going for all out offense or different types of things where everybody's got a certain amount of money and then they've got a and I think that would be cool to have like fantasy pool where you have like they have fantasy baseball and stuff. Like what if a bunch of us got to pick different players at the beginning of the year, and then as they perform throughout tournaments, we get like a roster of players that we get prize money that we earn, and then whoever's doing the best. I think there's so much we could do to make it interactive and fun. But
fantasy pool. Fantasy pool.
All right,
there you
go. All right, Darren, you ready for this?
Am I in?
Even if you no, you're not going to jump at this. I think he just can't be bothered getting his jump cue. Oh my God, he made it. Oh my God.
Just a little kick shot, nothing to it.
Just a call shot 8 ball.
How'd it feel, buddy?
I called it, didn't I?
Wasn't a bad. Yeah, I think I remember you calling the carom, didn't you? I remember hearing that.
Yeah,
I called it, didn't I?
Perfect carom.
So how you been on?
So
I have to ask you how old you are today.
Nightmare 46.
Okay, 46.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Unbelievable.
Where are we going to get-
46.
Where are we
Revitalize.
going?
46.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, you played.
What?
You played like a 26-year-old at the
About
Derby.
that.
I watched you, and it was wonderful.
Good, mate.
And Darren, we haven't
Pockets a bit.
officially met. Demetrius here. It's a pleasure to meet you, my friend.
How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, for sure. I got a chance to watch a lot of your matches, including like the Corey Duel match and the 9-ball. And some of the Bigfoot matches. I haven't seen you ever play any better than you're playing. You're doing amazing things, man. So good job.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing better. Still a little bit to go, but I'm getting close, I guess. Just got to be patient and wait for the next tournament, really.
Darren, I got a question for you. You know, you played a lot of the VG events during the COVID peak that Nate put on, the virtual events. Do you think that actually kickstarted you a little bit, maybe?
In the early days, I think, yeah. I think from when COVID started, I'd say from April to July, I was playing really well. Then I sort of stopped playing for about 4 or 5 months because there was no light at the end of the tunnel. But I was still doing a few things for my YouTube page, so that sort of kept me going. But I sort of lost a bit of motivation again because obviously we was all on lockdown, especially in the UK.
Sure.
So obviously we got restarted again last year. It's been like a slow process, hasn't it, really, since last year? It's all been a bit stop-start. But obviously this year we've got a proper full schedule again. So obviously we've got a really busy year ahead. So I think I've started the year pretty well. Still not hit my top gear yet, but I feel like there's a lot more to come. So just got to play all the tournaments and hopefully I get lucky and manage to win one.
Well, your showing at the Derby was great, I thought.
I tell you what, I watched a number of hours, maybe 5-6 hours of your play at the Derby. I'm not saying I never saw you make any mistakes, but the kicking, the safeties, the breaking, the shot making, the patterns, where do you feel like you're not firing at your top? Because everything, to me, it looked like you were playing good enough to win the whole tournament. It's just sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, literally the same performance, they can lose 9-8 to filler and get eliminated. It could be the same tournament. You could have bet Sanchez in the finals the way you were playing. What do you feel like you need to tighten up? Or is it just a number of attempts and just kind of, conditioning?
I think my biggest thing is my break. If there's one weakness in my game, it would be my break. I'm not the worst breaker, but I'm nowhere near the best breaker. So it's something I definitely need to work on, especially my 10-ball break. Regards to Derby, I guess I was just a little bit unlucky, I think, against Joshua and Corey. The one pocket, maybe the not winning a big tournament for a long time, maybe caught up with me a little bit at the end. Felt a little bit of pressure, felt a little bit edgy, wasn't executing the ball as good as what I did in the early rounds. So I think just getting used to that environment again and feeling the pressure where when you're watching Jason and Joshua and Fedor and Carlo Biardo, they look so comfortable out there. So I guess I was in that position, let's say 5-6 years ago. But when you have been there for a long time, when you're watching on TV, it looks very easy. But when you're out there, you're not used to winning, then it's not so easy. So I'm still working on the handling my composure and my nerves a little bit better. But I know that will come with more like big match arena matches, really.
Do you feel like there's a way to prepare for that other than competition? Like, is there something that people could do at home to prepare, or do you think you just have to get in the ring until you get used to it?
Yeah, I think some people need to just get in the ring, and then other people, it just comes so natural. I think someone like Joshua Filler or Jason Shaw, they just play, but they're young, so they're fearless anyway. But I think when you get older, your nerves are not quite as good. You need a bit more time to settle. I still think I can play great under pressure. I just think your nerves get a bit more jingly, let's say. So I think you just need to put yourself out there more often, let's say, where if I only played like one tournament a month, I don't think it would work for me. I think I need to be very active, get in the ring a lot and just keep putting pressure on myself. And like you say, just try and prepare mentally. So next time I'm in that situation, for example, when I lost to Fedor, I finished third in the one pocket, I sort of felt as if I'd like dogged it a little bit. So next time I'm in that situation, I'll make sure I won't make the same mistake regarding my approach to the game more than anything. So you just try and learn all the time. Even though I'm like 46, I've had a lot of success. When you haven't been on that big stage or won a big tournament for a long time, you're sort of retraining yourself again.
Yeah. Do you feel that when you're in that situation, you were in there quite a bit at the Derby, that down deep something comes up inside of you and helps you through that?
Well, I'm
remember
one of
what
those
it used to be
guys
like?
when my head's in a decent place, I will never give up no matter what.
Right.
So even if I'm not playing well, I'd probably say I'm one of those guys where I'm quite difficult to beat. Sort of got to scrape me off the carpet maybe 95% of the time. I think I showed that against Mika the other day. Even though we wasn't playing for money, it felt like we were playing for money because we're both very competitive guys, especially Mika. I've never known anyone like him. He's probably like the most competitive player, hungry player I've ever met in my life. And it doesn't matter whether you're playing for $1 or nothing. He just wants to win so badly. So that adds like pressure in itself. So yeah, just really just getting yourself out there, putting myself in the heat. I'm planning on playing some more money games and stuff like that. Just get in the box really and just get used to the pressure again.
Okay, so you think that these challenge matches, one guy challenging another, and you put so much money in the middle, you think that's going to be good for you?
Yeah, I think money matches are different now to, let's say, when I first come to America 15 years ago, it was like all a bit whisper, you know what I mean? Like it'd be a bit quiet. Everyone's on the road. Everyone's trying to like nick a few dollars. Where now everything's like pre-arranged. It's a lot more professional. It's more like playing a big final now. You just put the money up. You're playing that one big match. You might play a second set, but most matches there's that much money in the middle that take 2 or 3 days to finish. So they don't even feel like money matches really, even though they are. I feel like you're like preparing for like a big UFC fight or something like that. So it's great. I think it's great for pool. Where when I first come to America, I'd be going to Florida, I'd be going to Detroit, I'd be going to Pennsylvania, and just going to these random pool rooms and just playing people I didn't know. So you never really knew whether you was in a good game or a bad game until like you actually started.
Sure. Well, you played one of the
so obviously that was a dangerous environment. Well, when I look back now, it was a dangerous environment. You meet some shady characters where now, I mean, you go to these money matches now. I mean, you sort of know everybody who's there. The stream guys are there, so you know that you're pretty safe, you're secure, and a lot of people at these matches now, you sort of know half the crowd. So yeah, it's different, definitely a different environment now. And like you say, you meet a lot of shady characters like Nate. People who shark you.
Hey, that's I brought people. I needed you to win. First off, let's start there. I don't have to buy dinner in Vegas now because you won. So thanks for that, buddy.
Yeah, there's some argument there from Molina about that.
You don't have to worry about that. He gave up already. No, I think that's what the true question is. Where are we going to get dinner tonight for your birthday, Darren? That's my question.
Me and Mika found a really good spot last night. This burger company, it's called. It's only like $15 for a burger. So I think we're taking you there to treat you for your late birthday present.
Is that Monk's?
So it's nice and cheap and cheerful.
Cheap and cheerful. There you go.
Sounds good.
Nate.
When do I need to be up? When do I need to be up there?
I don't know. Yeah, you have to ask Mika. I think he's still sleeping.
No, he finally made a post. So he finally made a post on Facebook. So he's up and at it now.
He's done well.
Well,
yeah, I think I'll just go down, maybe try and get something to eat. It's not easy to get food in this hotel, that's for sure.
It's not. No, it's
Everything's
the place
closed.
isn't. There's not a lot of places open. No.
But I think there's one place open till 7, so I'll go down, get something to eat, and then maybe look at the pool room, see what time we can practice, and then obviously we'll go for dinner tonight, I guess.
Yeah. What time is the players' meeting? Is it 7 or 8? What?
8 p.m. They said.
8 p.m. All right. Well,
you're at Ho-Chunk right now then.
Yeah, I don't really bother with players' meetings anymore. I sort of get myself in trouble. I can't keep my mouth closed.
Well, then I guess I don't have to worry about going then either. If Darren's too big time for it, then me living in Darren's shadow means that I don't have to go either, right?
Yeah, I think pool's the only sport in the world where we have to have a players meeting at every tournament.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, there is. I know at the three cushion tournaments I go to now, that is, you must attend pretty much the players meeting.
Yeah, I think you got
And
to
the
attend.
same things are said every meeting.
Every tournament we play now, we're playing different rules or a different game. So hopefully one day we get one set of rules, one game, and then we don't have to keep going to these players meeting and wondering what the rules are. You know what I mean? It's all a little bit silly, really.
Yeah. Are there going to be jump cues, do you know, at this tournament?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not too sure. I think
yes, they are. I won't play in any tournament that I can't use a jump cue. With how good I play position, I'm using that jump cue like 15 to 20% of the time. You can't take away 1 out of every 5 of my shots. You just can't do it. It's rude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can use jump cues. Plus, it's a Predator event, and obviously they want to promote the BK air rush.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
I mean, that thing's pretty sick. I haven't played with it much, but I hit a few jump shots against Mika.
Yeah,
which I managed to make, so he wasn't too happy.
Speaking of which,
did Nate show off for you at all? His jumping prowess?
No, I'd probably say I won't even be in the top 20 jumpers in the world, but this BK rush probably like making me look a little bit better than what I am.
Oh,
I mean, it is pretty sick, to be fair.
I'll say this shot right here, I would have jumped this one all day.
Even if you, no, you're not going to jump at this. I think he just can't be bothered getting his jump cue. Oh my God, he made it. Oh my God.
Just in case Jim Telfer's voice is funny there. But we agreed before the match that no jump shots playing 8-ball.
Oh, did you?
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't agree with being able to play jump shots playing 8-ball or straight pull or one pocket.
Okay, sure.
Because for me, those games are precision games where rotation, I sort of get it because it's more exciting. Just do whatever you want. But 8-ball, I've never agreed with using.
Yeah,
jump
I
cues.
like that idea.
Because I think if you snooker yourself at 8-ball on your last ball, then you should be punished for it.
You should be. Yes.
Well, you should.
But I wasn't.
Why weren't you?
I called the 8-ball. That was perfect. No, it's funny. But Mika says that the Predator jump cues should be outlawed.
Oh.
Well,
but to be fair, he
from a
couldn't
player,
even get over the ball with his Mez cue.
You find me a Mez player, and I'll show you somebody who doesn't use a Mez jump cue. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think he usually jumps better than that. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. So, well, what I guess at the end of the day, what are your takeaways from the match? Anything?
Yeah, it's sort of just that it was a lot more competitive than what I sort of went into thinking about the match, but I should have known better, really, playing against Mika. I mean, he's just brutal competitor. I mean, but I like that. That's what makes him the player he is. That's why he's had all that success. I think even when he's like 60 years old, he'll still be trying like 150%. And he'll still get very upset when he loses. So I sort of admire that about him. It really just shows you how much desire he's got for the game, really. And I think it helped me. So, yeah, I enjoyed the matches.
Well, what's his age? How old is Mika?
Well, Mika, he's 49.
49.
So he's got you by
49. He'll be 50, I think, at the end of this year. So, but he looks a lot better than me for his age.
You know what? I'll tell you what. There was Seco Varani that Rob, the guy we named the tournament after. When he was like in his 70s, he was a super competitive guy, Darren. And when he was in his 70s, we have a tournament named after him. He's kind of a legend in our state.
Yeah.
He played in a tournament I was in. I was watching him play a match, and here he is. He's got no chance of winning a tournament anymore. I mean, none. He might win a match, but he's in his 70s, whatever. He's not playing his best, but he's so competitive. He broke, and I think he broke dry, and the cue ball was coming up to the head rail, and he says, "Freeze on that rail!" Like he was just just willing the thing to leave his opponent tough, and just the way he did it, it was just so funny. Like he was genuinely I don't know. So maybe that'll be Mika. He'll be the guy shouting at the cue ball.
I think someone like Mika and Ralph Suke, they'll be playing pool when they're 70 years old. They just love the game. There's guys what really love the game and love to compete, there's guys what just love winning. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And I think once you stop winning, obviously some guys just disappear. Let I don't know, like say some of the old school players like Nick Varner, Jim Rempe, all those guys, they just loved winning. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they don't love the game, but they sort of realise that their time was up, like a Mike Siegel. Where there's other guys that just keep playing just because they love it. Even like Efren Reyes, you know what I mean? It's amazing that he can still play at all, really, with all the health problems he's got, arthritis and all that stuff, and he still plays decent for 67 years old. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
sure.
he cannot even like lift his arm up anymore because of his arthritis. But yeah, so I mean, it's just but Paul, at least with Paul, if you're healthy, like Mika's a very healthy guy, you can play for a long time, long as you've got the desire to do it.
Here we've got some folks in the comments here that are already saying they're going to buy you guys drinks when they see you.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, little Chris says, "What did I get? What did you buy with the money I won off Nate on that bar drill?"
Let's see if you can be honest for once in your life, Darren. Come on, go on.
I didn't buy sushi. I know that. I don't like sushi.
That was good food, though. I'll tell you what, that red was some yummy food.
If you like sushi, yeah.
Yeah. You like raw fish, it's fine.
It's not for me,
I had
really.
fun with it. Yeah. So I guess Darren, you wanna talk with us a little bit about the Fedor and Alex match? Did you hear anything that happened there?
Just obviously Alex wasn't happy with the break, I guess. Big disagreements there. I don't 100% know the story, but I think Ray Hansen sort of made a post. I sort of read that. I don't think Fedor's made a big fuss about it. Obviously, they prorated it. I mean, it's amazing that you can be halfway through the match and you're changing the goalpost. I don't agree with that, but so I'm amazed that Fedor agreed to that. But I think obviously, I mean, Fedor's got stake horses, so it won't have only been his decision. So obviously there's two sides to the story. So obviously they've made the decision for a reason, and obviously they restarted the match. I think Alex bought out for $6,000.
$6,000, yeah.
Fedor's probably thinking he's probably an even bigger favourite with the Magic Rack. So I guess that was a big influence on letting him buy out. And obviously it turned out to be a great match at the sounds of it. I mean, except for like the odd break or the odd miss here, I think it was probably pretty 50-50 match, 50-45. So you're talking like one or two rolls between the winner and the loser.
Sure.
I know at one point in time it was 37.
What's your feelings on the compliancy break rules for 9-ball? Having either pocket balls, so many balls have to go up beyond the head string, and that. How do you feel about that?
It's terrible.
It's
terrible. I've made a post about it. It cost me. I was up 6-4 against Joshua Filler. I had a legal break because of the 3-point rule. Made a ball. I made 2 balls actually against Joshua Filler, and still had to walk away from the table. And I've got people behind me in the crowd saying, "Why you not continue shooting?" So I'm trying to explain to the people in the crowd, and they're like going crazy, saying it's the most stupidest rule ever.
Right.
So that was a big rat because I would have been up 7-4 against Joshua.
Sure.
But anyway, and then against Corey, I'm up 8-7. I broke the balls really hard, but I probably like slightly slug wrapped myself, but I still broke the balls hard. I made a ball, and I've got a shot on the 2-ball, but I didn't get the 3-point rule.
Wow.
So it's cost me the match. It's cost me 2 matches, really.
Sure.
For like something what I feel like it wasn't my fault. So if I was soft breaking, I sort of understand it. But
right.
I mean, how can you sell something on TV like to like your average viewer at home who's watching pool, and you don't quite understand the rules, and you make a ball on the break, and you go and sit down in your chair? I mean, the guy always going to be thinking, "What the hell's this shit?"
Yeah, what is this shit?
I mean, it's just nonsense, really. I mean, so that they need to fix that. I know for sure, like you'll never see that rule again at the Derby City Classic. It's sort of like a Euro Tour rule.
Okay.
And I know they've been using it for a long time. I don't agree with it. Never agreed with it, and they need to change it really because it's not good.
And there was one instance where there was a player that did commit that non-compliance, and he went and sat down, and the incoming player came in, and it might have been Fedor came in, and he was going to push out.
Well,
And,
that just
and
shows you the class of the player, really.
The referee stopped him and said, I don't think you can do that. And
well,
so now you have the ref interfering.
Yeah, I mean, Fedor could have just like tapped the cue ball and said to his opponent, just put the cue ball where it landed after the break. So he's allowed to do that.
Okay.
So he can give him like ball in hand, but he can just tell the guy to just put the cue ball where it landed after the break. I think that's a great gesture. There isn't many players what would do that, that's for sure. Maybe 10% of the players will probably do that, because at the end of the day, people are trying to make a living, and they've probably had the same thing happen to them where their opponent didn't give them that gesture. So you're thinking, well, why should I do it? So obviously it's a small minority of people what would even think about doing that. But the biggest thing for me is that we should be playing in we should be breaking inside the box with a 1 ball on the spot or the 9 ball on the spot, and we all should get the same rack and just break the balls. And then we all know where we stand playing 9 ball. It should be one or the other, the 9 on the spot or the 1 on the spot, but we all should be breaking inside the box, because then it's a bit less random. It's a bit more random regards where the balls are going to land and where the cue ball is going to land after the break. And you'll see a mixture of breaks, and you'll see some guys hitting them full, and you'll see some guys cut breaking. But I think that creates a bit more interest.
Yeah, and you'll see some guys going below the side and some guys coming above the side. Okay, on this match, I don't know. So I don't really feel that it came down to a couple rolls, Darren. I was going to talk about the Fedor. So I think the whole idea, right, was Alex's plan is that he's supposed to have the moving edge. He's supposed to have the gambling edge.
Yeah.
And and so what his plan is to do was get with the triangle rack to slow down Fedor's all-out offense and try to make there be more balls on the table and more maneuvering games. And his plan was to win 70% of the moving battles and then run out like water and win all those games. And then use that to put heat on Fedor, and using the heat that he puts on Fedor and the triangle rack to slow him down and keep him from really catching his high speed. He was going to keep it close and put heat on him, and then expose weaknesses in Fedor's experience that result in mistakes. And then Alex was going to take it away with his heart and experience. That was his game plan. My opinion, no chance, because the fact was that Alex wasn't winning 70% of the moving games, because he was only winning half, because I think that the younger players move better than the younger players from 20 years ago. The other thing is that Alex wasn't running out every time he won the moving games, and he was still making some mistakes. So even if he first, he couldn't get the best of the moving game. Even if he did, he wasn't converting as well as Fedor. And so in the end, and then finally, the triangle rack didn't slow Fedor down. He figured out the break and started running a bunch of racks anyway. And finally, he wasn't able to put any gambling pressure on Alex on Fedor. And if he did, Fedor is so technically skilled that he just couldn't dog it. Even if he felt pressure, he's too good at the game to really break down in some ways. So it's like all of that stuff didn't work. Fedor was beating his brains out. And then even when they started over with the template, which, I expected to go even more Fedor's way, Alex played as well as I've seen Alex play in 7 years. And he was hungry and he was determined. And Fedor played, I just felt like Fedor was bringing his average or below average game, and Alex was bringing his peak game. And Alex could keep up with him for a while. But it just felt like Alex was running at 9,000 RPMs and Fedor was running at 4,000 RPMs. And if they ran it again, like if they played that set 10 times, Alex might not win a single set. And that's as close as it's going to come. And he had to kill himself to do it. And I don't feel like it was a close match that came down to a couple rolls. It felt like just totally inevitable that Fedor is a completely superior player. And all the stuff about gambling experience and heart and tactician and I'm going to outmove you and slow you down, like none of that's going to work against Fedor. He's just a stronger player. And maybe with tighter pockets and a triangle rack when Alex was at his prime, different story. But Alex today against Fedor today, I just don't see it.
I didn't see the match, so I can't really comment. What were the pockets like? Were the pockets playing tight?
No, they were playing normal. They were 4 3/8, and the tablecloth.
I was a bit surprised that Alex played him at that venue on a brand new table, because when they played in Vegas, the two sets they played in Vegas, it was a very, very tight table.
Yeah,
pocket. I think it's 4 1/8 with. I think it's 4 1/8 inch
but it played really tight, and it was like
this is
worn cloth. I watched maybe 50% of those games, and Alex completely outmoved him. He just he just frustrated him and froze him out. So he was able to play, let's say, his game. Let's say where.
Yeah, but this is the same thing that I was joking around a year or two ago about how Justin Bergman does the same thing, or different players where it's like they're going to play, but they're going to play with they're going to play on 4-inch pockets with worn cloth, and they're going to play with that. It's like they come up with these weird games. Like as far as I'm concerned, this is just my opinion here. Of course, gamblers, they can match up whatever game they want to play, but in the end, we play tournaments on diamonds and Rassins with 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 and fairly new cloth with template racks. That's our tournament game. Yeah. And that's the game that everybody plays. Now, if you're gonna sit there and say, I'll play you with 4-inch holes on worn cloth with a triangle, and you have to break off the side rail and whatever, it's like you're basically just saying you can't. You're just acknowledging you can't beat them at the real game that we are playing these days.
Yeah,
which
probably.
Is fine. You can still play it, but you might as well play one pocket then.
Well, it's because obviously the break. Obviously, Alex doesn't break very good, and Fedor's a great breaker. So obviously they're trying to equalize the game. Let's say where. I think the sets they played in Vegas was a race to 25, race to 21. I think that's more suited to the Alex Pagulayan, or let's say myself, where you can keep the heat on from like the start. But when they go to race to 50, obviously it's going to favour like the firepower players. You know what I mean? Like a Shane Van Bonen, Jason Shaw, Dennis Orcollo,
and just the younger players
Fedor,
too. I mean,
Joshua Filler. Then
Alex Pagulayan is in his
mid-40s. When you're just trying to stick to the same game plan for like 2 days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, Nate's right. He mentioned the age gap, and I'll tell you, not that Alex is over the hill by any stretch, but the thing is that for Alex's style, it takes Alex, like I was talking about RPMs, it takes Alex an awful lot of energy to perform at his high gear, and he doesn't have the same stamina that he might have had 20 years ago. Whereas you look at Fedor, and I just feel like Fedor's built his game to where, first of all, he's younger. He's going to have more energy, but I just don't think it takes Fedor as much energy to run through racks of balls as it takes Alex. It's almost like Alex is playing on a 9-foot and Fedor's running out. It looks like he's on a bar table, and it's like all day long. It just is too much, man.
But also, you got to remember is that when Alex played him in Vegas, I don't think Fedor was in good form, and Alex was playing really well. Where obviously, Fedor coming into this match, his confidence was through the roof.
Sure.
So
after the Derby,
and then Alex didn't have a great Derby City Classic.
Right.
So there's a lot of things what come into play. Also, I mean, when your confidence is as at its highest it can be, then you're a very difficult guy to beat. You know what I mean? Whoever you are, really. So that comes into play also. And that was my biggest worry for Alex, was that he's probably playing him at the wrong time. That's probably like a never good time to play him, but obviously playing him on top of his game.
Yeah, he should have picked a better time.
You feel like Fedor did play his best, but he's still got that supreme confidence when he needs it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he picked the wrong time. He should have played him in like 2011.
Well, he beat him last year for like 50,000. So
yeah, fair enough.
He proved he can still do it. But obviously, Fedor was favourite on paper. Obviously, the younger guy is confident. But it'd be nice to see Fedor play someone like Shane, someone like that.
What do you think about him. What do you think about Fedor versus Filler, 9-ball, 10-ball?
Well, they can't play 10-ball because Filler doesn't break good enough 10-ball.
Okay, so 9-ball.
9-ball, I'd favour Joshua. Obviously, I'd favour Fedor at 10-ball. But I think Fedor and Shane, I still favour Shane. Sorry, even though I'm European, I'd still favour Dennis against Fedor, 10-ball. But anyone else, I think he can play anybody at 10-ball.
I mean, I'd push back on you hard on the Dennis, because Dennis breaks bad 10-ball too. Josh breaks significantly better 10. Well,
I don't
generally
think he breaks
speaking,
that bad. He's beat Shane twice on the big table in a race to 120.
Yeah, but that was 9-ball. That was 9-ball. Yeah, but that was 9-ball with kind of goofier rules.
No, he beat Shane 10-ball.
No, he didn't. No,
No, whatever then.
It
You
was
still
nine
got to
ball.
break the ball. Still got to play, haven't you?
Yeah.
But
he
Dennis
beat
can
Shane
break.
twice playing 9-ball.
The problem with Dennis is that he might hit 3 good breaks and 1 bad break. 3 good breaks and 1 bad break. Where someone like Shane, he might hit 1 bad break in 9. But
Sure.
I would never bet against Dennis or Cullo, and I find it very hard to bet against Shane Van Bowen in playing 10 ball. I don't care who they play. But
Sure.
if everyone plays 9 ball in a race to 150, then my money's on Joshua Filler.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's your overall feeling and take on what Jason's accomplishment was recently with the high
That's amazing,
run?
isn't it? I couldn't believe that because I've never really looked at Jason as a straight pull player. Obviously, he's a great shooter of the ball, but he didn't play great patterns. So for the first 3 days, it was sort of a little bit all over the place with his patterns and his break shot and everything else. But the last 2 or 3 days, his straight pull game got better and better and better. He figured the break shots out. He started figuring the patterns out better. And his game just went 50% better over the last 2 or 3 days. And it was an amazing achievement.
Okay.
And to be fair, once he got to 700, I thought he might run 1,000 here. Because he just looked like he just didn't care. I mean, he just played like as if he was just like in his local pull room or his own pull room. So, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing achievement. And, yeah, I think...
Do you think the guys are going to start trying to break that?
I think Jason's status has just gone up another 25-50% regards his fame in the game. Even though he's pretty famous in the game anyway, he's starting to get more exposure away from the industry, which is good, and it's good for pull. So, but I think it will be beat eventually if people continue to put these prizes up. Sure. And I think there's definitely a few guys out there what's capable of beating it under the same conditions and let's say the same size pockets and all that stuff. But obviously, there's no guarantees. It might never get beat. But
so overall, it's good for pool.
Yeah, but I mean, it's amazing. Really, it gets people talking about pool, and obviously it's good exposure. And obviously, it's Jason's more famous now for that straight pool than what he will be winning any world championship
or MVPs in the Moscone Cup. He's got a few.
Yeah, I mean, people will be thinking about Jason now as the Mr. 7-1-14, whatever it is. It's like he's the world record holder at straight pool. Because I mean, the social media just went nuts, didn't it?
Yeah. So I got to tell you, he was given $10,000 by who? Who gave him the $10,000?
Well, I think he received $50,000 straight away.
Okay.
Off the guys put up the what's it called, Legends of Billiards. They raised money through sponsors and everything else, and I think Bobby put quite a bit of money of his own also. So I think he got $50,000 cash straight away. I think that included the $10,000 from OBQs.
Okay, so OBQ. So the reason I say it because maybe the funniest thing I've heard this year is your buddy Jim there, Mr. Telfer. When somebody asked, did John Schmidt get 10,000 when he ran his 626, and Jim replied, he did, but you got to pay to see the check.
Oh,
I'm still laughing. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean the good thing with Jason, he knew there was a big bounty at the end of it if he broke the record. Plus, it was live. There's nothing better than seeing something live. Right. I was getting text messages. I think it was 7 a.m. in the morning in the UK. There's people like ringing my phone saying that Jason's on 600 balls. So I actually woke up to watch the last hour or whatever it was. So it was amazing, and people were talking about it, and then everyone's sharing it. And the good thing is going to make at least another 100,000 on top of that through all the royalties and everything else. So it's great. It's good for him. It's good for the game. And obviously, it will give more people more motivation to try and beat it also under the same circumstances, knowing that there's a big prize at the end of it. Where in the past, no one's even really tried to break the record because there was no reason to. Right. There was no goal for it. There was no prize. So and that's why I was a little bit surprised with John, really, that he didn't get the video out there, didn't go the right way about it and cash in on his achievement. So I feel a bit sorry for him in that way because he should have really cashed in on that. And I'm guessing he didn't really get out of it what he should have done.
No, well, let me ask you this thing.
I agree with that.
So the So, like you said, the reason that nobody was really trying it was probably because there was nothing for it, right? I mean, you weren't winning anything for it. It's not unknown that Bobby Chamberlain and John Schmidt do not like each other. They don't. They hate each other. And I think a lot of it is I don't know exactly what the original reason for it was, but I know that Bobby was not happy that he was withholding the video. Do you think that if John would have went about doing it the right way, that Jason would have even had the opportunity to break this? Or do you think that him holding it back was the catalyst for the money being put up for it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to try and make second guesses, but I just don't understand why we haven't seen this video. I mean, it just amazes me. What is it, 2 years ago?
Have you personally seen it? Have you seen it yet?
It's probably like 2 or 3 years ago now, and I still haven't seen the video.
It's been at least 3 years because it was well before COVID. I mean,
COVID. Even if it's a pay-per-view video and you got to pay $50 to watch it, I'd probably buy it just because I'd want to see. So
you have not seen it?
I just want to see the last 50 balls, really, just to see how it all went down. You know what I mean? But so it's a bit disappointing, really, that you broke a record. It's out there, it's on tape, and nobody sees it. So
you haven't seen it?
No. I know that there's people. I've seen it. Nick Mindham was one of them, and I don't know. I think I heard a few rumors that there's a few question marks over the video. So, but I'm just speculating on rumors. So, I don't know about you guys. Have Demetrius, Robert? Have you seen it?
I've seen the last.
I've
seen like the last 150 balls.
No.
Right. Okay.
No.
Yeah,
how did you go about seeing it, Demetrius?
I saw it. I don't remember if I saw it live or I think what happened is Dion from the Academy. What do they call? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the place. City.
Like Legends of Billiards or something.
Okay, they changed okay, but anyway, he took a video of the stream on his phone and streamed it to Facebook, and I saw that. I didn't see it live. I saw it like 2 hours later, but I saw like the last 150 balls, and it was definitely fun and to watch. And I learned a few things from watching Jason. I think I learned a little bit about speed of break shots.
We're talking about the John Schmidt video. Have you seen?
Oh no, I'm sorry. No. I didn't. I thought we were talking about Jason.
No.
No, we're about John Smith's video.
Okay, no, I've never seen it. No.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, has he really got 626? So I mean, whatever it was. So
one thing that I noticed about Jason's breaking, that he didn't do it every single time he broke the balls, but he had pretty much the same angle almost every break shot that he broke.
Yeah, I mean, Jason figured it out, Robert. And the thing with that table, because the cloth was brand new and the pockets are 5-inch pockets, and they had all the balls tapped. All the balls were tapped, so they're all touching. I mean, that made a huge difference. Let's be honest. So that allows you to break the balls from like a bigger angle because you're playing in big pockets, but also you're able to get the white ball to go through the stack. Where on like balls what are not so touching so much, they'll probably bounce off the balls a lot more, and you probably see a few more scratches with that type of rack. But, I mean, still, it's an incredible achievement. I mean, the last 2 or 3 days when I did watch him play, his patterns got better and better and better, and he figured that break shot out. I mean, he virtually had the same break shot every rack. It was unbelievable.
Right. Well, the one thing I noticed is I saw some different angles on the breaks, but when he was even with the break ball, he was using more speed than I normally use to really rip the rack open. However, when he was back cutting the break ball, and he had enough angle, he used less speed on the break shot than I normally use. So I was really like, I guess I'm kind of in a one-track mind where it's like every break shot I hit, it's like trying to open up the rack. I'm not as sensitive to the speed. Right. And I really saw the angle of the cut as that cut, so if I'm always breaking here, when he got full, he was really breaking here. And when he was thinner, he was really breaking here. And he was really tuned in on the right speed to use. And it was just amazing how his speed selection opened up the rack really well. Yeah.
I mean, I class myself as a straight pull player, but after watching that, I thought if I ever go for an high run, I'd completely change how I used to break. I wouldn't be breaking and bringing the cue ball back with draw, let's say, because you're bringing scratches into play. I wouldn't be punching off the rack because you're bringing the side pockets into play. So it definitely opened my eyes up regards playing straight pull if you're trying to break, like, let's say, 500 balls.
And Mosconi said that his favorite break ball was a thin back cut where he was cutting the break ball into the corner thin and going with follow through the rack. And maybe that's why. Maybe it takes out the scratches or the chance of getting trapped on the rack or going all the way up table and being trapped on the head rail or like the scratch that Jason had at the end where you go up to the corner. So maybe there's something, the problem with that, Darren, is that you have to be able to make those balls. And so for a lot of people, you just don't feel comfortable betting your run on these thin back cuts rack after rack,
Especially on a diamond table.
That's
especially
right.
a diamond table where, no disrespect, on that table, you can leave yourself those shots and you're sort of a big, massive favourite to make them. And once you get dialed in, like Jason did, then to him it was like a hanger. You know what I mean? He just finds the spot, he finds the angle of the shot, and you just keep running. But if you're playing like a one-on-one situation, race to 150, leaving that same break shot, I'd be quite happy if I'm the opponent if he's leaving that same break shot. So I think there's a different way to play if you're going for a high run. And there's a different way to play if you're playing one-on-one. Because like Torsten, for example, he always breaks the balls very hard and he always draws the cue ball back. And John Smith plays a completely different way. So yeah, there's definitely lessons to be learned on if you're looking to get a really high run, like 400 or 500 balls. I think there's a different way to play the game.
I played Willie one time in an exhibition match to 150. And I watched his breaking very, very closely. I was right next to the table watching, sitting in the challenger's chair. Yeah. And the thing that amazed me was that his angle that he would look for would be about 20 degrees. That was his preferred angle for the break, around there. And to get the cue ball to do what he did with it, almost every break shot, to me, I don't know how he did it to this day. Yeah. But the break ball would hit the rack. The balls would kind of spread in every direction, and then it would go into the rack about 4 or 5 inches and stop.
Yeah.
And now he'd have balls to shoot in all 6 pockets if he wanted.
Yeah.
And my head was spinning, like, how does he get the cue ball to do that? Every time I would try, the ball would fly off of the rack and bounce back to the side rail, or go through the rack with too much high on it and scratch in one of the corners, or, something like that. Yeah. But his was a combination of that stun, spin, follow, die.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll say about that is I learned this. So what happens is with follow shots, to get the cue ball fully rolling, if you're shooting, normally when you shoot a follow shot, you have some distance between the cue ball and the object ball you're shooting at, or you're shooting at a softer speed to where if you don't cue very high and you start the cue ball off with some partial slide, like a stun run through type hit, it'll develop itself into full roll as it goes across the table bed. So normally when you're shooting soft speeds or with distance, you can get away with a little bit of a non-pure hit when you're following and it'll develop into topspin. However, when you're shooting a straight pull break shot, you're close to the object ball and you're shooting with speed. So if you don't cue high enough, your cue ball will hit the rack like a kind of a stun follow and it'll just kind of stick on the rack. Yeah. But if you can cue high, you really have to lift your tip and make sure that your cue ball is fully rolling right off the tip. And if you lift your tip up high, that's how you get that action rod to burrow through the rack. And that's a big mistake I see a lot of people make on straight pull break shots. Yeah. But okay. And so sorry guys, I've got to cut out, but I'll tell you what. I just want to say I have some obligations, but I'm going to bow out. But it was good to talk to you two again. And then Darren, it's a real pleasure to meet you. Thanks for joining our stream. And
you're welcome.
In a tournament, I want to shake your hand. So
yeah, no problem, mate. I'll see you around.
Yeah, $25 and you can shake his hand.
Take care, Demi.
All right, John Schmidt. Oh, okay, bye.
That hurt. Right here.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't knocking John Smith at all. I mean, the video's probably legit. I'm just saying there was a couple of rumors out there. I'm not saying whatever. I'm just speculating. Sure, like a few.
I'm guessing that a lot of the people. I'm guessing that the rumors are just hate.
I've no doubt
at the end of the day, they're probably
legit.
hatred,
you know what I mean? And he did run 6:26. It'd just be nice to see it.
Right.
That's
like
exactly it. Right. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure the people who said it's like all the people who are saying it's fake. I'm sure that's just. I mean, it's just stupidity. I mean,
the
people who are probably mad. Yeah, it's probably people who are mad that they haven't been able to see it. But I know a good way to make it so you don't have to worry about it. Let people see it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like the people that are making the rumors,
still make some money from that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's completely dead in the water. I think there's still some money to make from it. But
well, yeah, I think so.
It's a shame, really, that it's been held back all this time. And
I'll tell you what,
Well,
if you would have made like an on, if it would have
records are
been
there to be
pay-per-view,
records are there to be broken, and eventually they get broke. And Jason's will get broke eventually.
Oh yeah.
But the
All I'm
good thing,
saying is-
Jason's
Well, I
making
think he
sure
will get
he's
broke.
milking it and getting as much money out of the cow as he can. So fair play to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: if you would have charged $50 to watch it, whether it's to buy a DVD or whether it's just to join like a pool action TV stream or something like that, just to watch it, I'd have paid it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wouldn't pay
know.
$5 to watch it now. I
I
would
would
pay
have paid,
$1 to
you know,
watch
like
it
when he got to 600, I would have paid $100 just to see the run from 600 balls. Because there's nothing better than seeing something live. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like I really struggle to watch pool when it's like recorded, like pre-recorded. I mean, it's just so hard to watch. But if I'm watching the Matchroom tournaments and it's live on Sky Sports or whatever, it's just so easy to watch and it's so much more fun.
I'm kind of the same way.
I think that's what I enjoyed the most about the VG events that Nate did during COVID. It was live.
Yeah, I mean, it was something to watch. I mean, if it's not live, it's so painful for me to watch pool.
And you could see
if it's live. I can watch.
I mean, I could see the stress on the players' faces and their body action without even an opponent present. I mean, it was pretty stressful.
Well,
yeah,
I'll say this,
I think it's the same for all sports. I mean, if it's live, it's just you're just waiting out. It's just anticipation, let's say, whatever. But when something's pre-recorded, I mean, I watch loads of sports, but if I know the result and I've like recorded it, it's so hard for me to go back and watch it, even if it's like a great match. You know what I mean? But so I like to be on the edge of my seat when I'm watching sports. You know what I mean? You're just not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that.
Well, that's why the Mosconi Cup is so great.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing.
It really is. I mean, I love it. I just loved it this year. I just loved every second of it.
Yeah, and even if like the result don't go your way,
well,
you
know what? Even the fact Earl didn't get to play, and Jeremy had to go jump in there just to watch Jeremy play again.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And even if the results don't go your way, and then you're really disappointed with your team, whether it's Europe or USA, you can guarantee that a week after the tournament, they're all thinking about rebooking their ticket again for the following year, and even more people get on board. So it just keeps growing and growing.
It does,
regardless of the result. So I don't think it really. Obviously, it's better for Matchroom and TV if the matches are competitive. But even if a match is like 11-1, 11-2, people will still go to the Mosconi Cup because it's just a great show, and it's great to be involved, and it's also a great social event.
Yeah, yeah. And even with the score the way it was going into that last third day, I mean, come on, it was up for grabs.
You guys missed the boat big time. I mean, you should never have been 9-5 down in a million years. You should have been 8-7 either way at least.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't as like, I don't think there was like, if you take Jason Shaw out of the Mosconi Cup and you take Joshua Filler out on the last day, I thought it was an even match.
Nice.
Yep. So, well, we can get closed down here, but we got a couple announcements, I guess, to make in the beginning. Again, get over to WIBHOF.org. Vote for Rob Hovick for Hall of Fame. We need to get him inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there you go. You got a nice, pretty background there, Robert. Some nice blinds. Looks like a nice lamp.
Yeah, well, see my glasses.
Very colourful in that room.
I got the blinds.
Where are you from?
My glasses. I'm from Wisconsin, and I did a little background, just to give you an idea of the size of the state of Wisconsin that you're in now.
Yeah.
It's bigger than Holland, Belgium, and Denmark combined.
Okay.
just the state.
It's probably colder as well. I mean, it's probably as cold actually. It's cold in them countries.
Right, way colder.
So, I'll put the link out there in the chat one more time. And anybody who goes on gets a $10 for the year subscription, gets a free Cue It Up T-shirt. All you got to do is just go vote for him and then reach out to me and let me know, or the podcast page. No problem.
Well, Ryan, Darren, if I'm coming to Vegas. Yes, I'll be in Vegas.
I'll be in Vegas.
Well, there you go. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
You're around.
So
you're around, Robert.
Yeah.
Robert, it's your round pal.
You're around, pal.
And then Darren, we're gonna be. I guess I'm gonna go live in about probably 2 or 3 hours to give away that stuff from this weekend. So why don't you tell people how they can win all that stuff? Lots of good stuff.
Oh wow, we got amazing. I forgot how many prizes we got. We got like a load of prizes. I think we got free cues, tips, chalk, shirts, sign balls, tips. The lot. It's $5 per number, and you can PayPal myself at dynamitedaz8@gmail, or you can go on Nate's Facebook page or his Cue It Up podcast, and all the details are there. I think you can Cash App, whatever, and I think there's still time to enter, right?
Yep, I'm going to do the drawing in about 2 hours, so you're running out of time. But
yeah, so you need to be quick, guys.
Did we get rid of all the $150 packages? We did, Ryan, but if you want one, I'll match whatever it was if you want to get one of those. We have a couple of jerseys left over anyway, so I can hook you up with one of those this weekend if you want one.
And it's my video. It's my birthday, so I should get some extra numbers.
Oh, you want some extra numbers? You want
to people send me extra money for numbers.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's his birthday, yeah. Well, all the money is going to Darren and Tamika, so it's to thank them for coming over and giving us an awesome show. It wasn't a very good one on Friday.
Yeah.
Thanks
very much
for my birthday meal.
Belated.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll close it out here. I have put in all there, but Rob, we get to do a Manscaped ad. You want to do that? You ready? You excited?
Where's my Manscaped?
You ever heard of Manscaped, Darren?
Yeah.
You got one? You got yourself one? Shave your head with it?
Oh, yeah, I've got one of those. I need to buy one of those for Shane Van Bonen. And, he definitely, it's good, pal. That's got a light on there as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is live.
That's beautiful.
Yes. When you're over 70, it's ear hair that's the problem.
Definitely. That's why I need one of those so I can get rid of my hair.
In a beautiful light. Look at that.
Darren, let me try to sell you on a Manscaped. You ready for this? I'll read you a poem. You ready?
Listen to that.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a wild pube wreck you. How's that?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That just sucked.
Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and our sponsors at Manscaped are here for you with the best tools to get your balls ready for the special occasion. This Valentine's Day, it's time to join the 4 million men worldwide who have trusted Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use the code QITUPPOD to get 20% off plus free shipping.
Beautiful.
What do you think about that, Darren?
Well, you need to bring me one to Vegas.
You know, this baby right here, if you have like a 5 or 6 day growth, which I tend to have,
yeah,
and there's nothing worse trying to shave a 5-day growth. But if you do the Manscaped prior to the regular shave, it's perfect. And according to Jim Telfair, that'd be perfect.
Yes, Darren.
According to Jim, it can shave the hair straight off a balloon.
Right, and guys, I'm going to shoot out of here. I've got celebrating to do.
Oh,
so
yeah, good for you.
Later.
Happy
see
46,
See you later, Robert.
Darren.
See you later, Neighty.
We'll see you.
I'll see you in a couple hours, huh? All right, so we'll close this out with get 20% off and free shipping with the code QITUPPOD at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Just use code QITUPPOD. Join Cupid and shoot your arrow with Manscaped this Valentine's Day.
Oh, perfect. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, take care, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.